Welcome back to the Weekly YouTube channel. I am your host, Owen, and today we're going to be doing another prospect profile. We're actually going to be getting the one who wasn't ended by injury during the season. This is somebody who played the whole season just fine and committed as a junior. I'm not sure if it was redshirt junior or regular junior. I have to double check, but he wasn't a senior, so he had to either decide to commit or not, and he committed, and he was totally off my radar until he committed, and I read that he was Mel Kiper's #1 middle linebacker prospect. So I was like, okay, I immediately need to go watch this guy, and while I'm watching him, might as well write down some notes to film a thing for him when I get done. So I actually did this about a week ago. It's been a little bit of a hassle. We got sick and stuff, so I'm just now getting around to this. But since last week, I posted that Nolan Smith one. Great reception. I really enjoyed the interaction that one got. So I'm going to start pumping these out a lot more frequently. So, yes, Drew Sanders is a linebacker from Arkansas, 6'5", 233. Mel Kiper's #1 inside linebacker prospect. I'd probably call him more of the way Mel Kiper probably puts it, I'd probably consider that a stack linebacker prospect as opposed to like an outside rusher kind of guy. So, I think as his traditional Mike, I can see it. He's definitely got the size and length. He's a big boy. He's actually a transfer. 5-star recruit to Alabama, transferred to Arkansas to get playing time. And this year was like his true first time starting a full season's worth of games. And yeah, I was impressed. I think he's still got a lot of areas he can work on. He's kind of more raw. Kind of reminds me of Tremaine Edmonds in that sense, where he's this giant guy, 6'5", 230, is freakishly athletic for his size. However, very raw in his game. And Tremaine was 19 years old when he was drafted. So, I mean, this guy is a little older, but the same thing is basically he is physically mature enough for the NFL, just needs to work on the fundamentals. But we'll get into that. Right now on screen, I'm showing you the Dynasty Index page I have for my Drew Sanders write-up. Just remember, if you are interested in getting all of my write-ups and all the grades I have on players, as well as Caleb Keelpro 88's grades and write-ups on his players, which is mostly the offensive skill positions, as well as some truly pioneered analytic that we have someone else who works on the site who has some running back and edge rusher analytics and is working on more programs like that to try to help us determine, what players are set most to succeed analytically when they're coming out of college into the NFL. So if you want to get all of that, go to patreon.com/KillPro88. You can check out all this stuff. But yeah, other than that, we're just going to dive right into his film. This is his grade for me. I think he grades out as a top of the second round, end of the first round kind of guy. Definitely not my #1 linebacker, but he is going to be one of those guys I would consider taking in the back half of the first if you have a need at that position. So let's just go and jump right into his tape. Okay, and this is going to be our first tape, him against South Carolina. Before I get into it, real quick shout out to Do a Barrow Roll. I always get his name messed up. Do a Barrow Roll, who does these cut-ups online where it's just offense versus defense, where you can watch every snap of specific defenses or specific offenses in these games, going all the way back to, I think, 2018. He has them on his channel, as well as Kill88 puts them up on his channel where they're more player-specific cut-ups with all their snaps, like quarterbacks, running back, wide receivers, things like that. So, yep, I have the game against South Carolina pulled up right now, and we're just going to start out with a real simple play. It's nothing outstanding or anything real indicative of his whole game, his game is in entirety, but this play is going to show him he's right in the middle, right over the left guard here. And he's going to flow to the right as it's a read option play. Spencer Rattler's going to keep it go the other way, and he's just going to be able to flow to backside and make the backside tackle. Shows off a little bit of his range. It's not gonna be a great range play. Like you're not going to gauge his range from this one play alone. But he does play disciplined against the run right here, where he comes in, fills his gap if it was a handoff, and then flows back to make the tackle on Rattler. Just a solid tackle, open field. No, he doesn't get any big tackle for a loss or anything. Makes it from the backside, so he's not going to be making one of those kind of splash plays in the run game. But just a solid play overall from a linebacker who, like I said, didn't get much starting experience right away, so he just some nice instincts here. Now this play right here, he's going to be at the bottom of your screen, lined up in the 2-point stance, kind of off the edge of the offensive tackle, more like an edge rusher kind of position. And this is something I like from his game a lot, and is one of his biggest pros for me, is that he's able to rush the passer on top of being an inside linebacker stack guy. He can play from the stack, but also come off the edge on third down If you're not comfortable with him being in the pass drop zone, like right away in the beginning of his career in the NFL, you can have him rush the passer. So right here he comes off. Just let's before we get into that, you gotta watch his first step explosiveness out of his stance is great, and he's able to just set the offensive tackle upfield. So the offensive tackle is getting ready for his burst upfield and just beats him with an inside swim. Gets kind of held, spins off of it. Just a really good overall pass rush rep. He knows he's the better athlete out there against that offensive tackle. Maybe won't be the case in the NFL a lot, but he just puts on this great lateral move with the swim. Like I said, gets held a little bit because he sets him up so well, and then is able to spin off and get pressure. If Rattler isn't already moving off because of the pressure from his right hand side, he's probably being the one putting the pressure on right away. Overall, yeah, he's just a great. He's really good as a pass rusher from the linebacker spot. Can line up on the edge or from the middle. And we'll see more of those as we look at his tape. But for right now, this is just a good one. Good explosive first step. Good inside swim. He's got a lot in his toolbox, and this is something he can offer on third downs right away. So this is going to be another third down kind of play where it's going to be an obvious passing situation, and you don't want him rushing off the edge or you have someone else rushing off. You can have him drop into zone coverage. He's not that bad at it. He's going to be right here, again, over the left guard in the middle linebacker position. He's going to sink into his hook curl zone right here. So he's going to back off, keeps eyes on the quarterback, reading his eyes the entire time. He's sinking out here. They have a route going behind him, but he reads the quarterback's eyes, sees he's going for his underneath route. And this is like basically how they coached up when you're going to be a linebacker. If you're going to get targeted in the passing game, you're going to have to get some depth, take away the deep pass. And he's got such long arms, I doubt any quarterback's going to want to try to fit that hole, especially if the coverage in the back end is still good. And you want to come up and give him a 5-yard headache. You'd rather give up the short pass, come up and nail this guy. Closing speed comes up, beautiful tackle. That guy's going to feel that. So yeah, he's not going to want to run as hard over the middle again. You want to, as a linebacker, get depth, take away that deep pass so you're not in trouble, and then force them to take this shorter throw like he did, and then just come downhill, give up a 5-yard headache as opposed to a 15-yard first down. That's just the reality of how you got to be a linebacker in coverage, and I think this is a really textbook play to show how that kind of play is coached up and how a linebacker should be playing this. Give him the underneath route, give him the underneath drag, and then come up and just make a good sound tackle. All right, on this next play is going to be a run, an outside sweep to the left. He's going to be working here again over the left guard and the right side of the middle linebacker formation, and he's just going to slow play this run play a lot. They're going to try to hit this outside. He knows he's got outside help, and he's going to be the one scraping over top. He doesn't over-pursue. He does that good little lateral movement, and as soon as the running back tries to slow down, maybe find a cutback upfield, he chops his feet. He starts moving slower laterally, and just slow plays it perfectly, stays on the back hip, and is able to come up here, make a tackle for a loss. It's a great play by his defense overall, making sure that he doesn't get the outside edge, which is what they're trying to attack on this run play. But him slow playing it and being able to start strafing whenever the running back looks to chop his feet and make a cut, that's just good, sound play, doesn't overrun the play, doesn't get too aggressive. If he tried to shoot up here, he might be able to, but if he misses that tackle, then there might be a cutback lane here that he might be surrendering. So slow plays it, allow the play to develop, knows he's got good leverage with his other teammates around him, and then waits the last possible second, lets the running back commit, and makes that tackle. So I think overall, maybe if he was a little more aggressive on that play, it would have been better, but I think he played it near perfectly outside of that one move. So, from this angle especially, you can see he slows it down, and if he would have shot that gap, so right here, if he shoots this gap, he might be able to catch that running back. But at the same time, if he misses that open tackle, and he also thinks he has that guy there in front of him, number 8, or number 15. He thinks number 15 might get him, so he's going to allow him to get at him. As soon as he falls down, then he's able to slow play this, and it's just a great slow play. Doesn't let the cutback come back, doesn't over pursue, doesn't try to go too fast, and is able to just make a sound tackle in the open field. So here we have another play where he's going to be lined up as an edge rusher, and this is going to be a strip sack on Spencer Rattler, where he's going to be able to, as we highlighted in the first pass rushing rep he did, he has that good first step, gets upfield, so he's attacking the upper hip of the offensive lineman. He's trying to beat him around the edge and get down here. He's already starting to engage his hip flexibility. He gets around the lineman, gets a little rip. You'd like to see him a little tighter to the lineman to reduce this angle, but he gets look how bent he is. This is just showing his flexibility. He can be like an edge rushing kind of linebacker in an odd front scheme. So he gets super flexible. Maybe a Von Miller or guys like that would be able to stay on their feet kind of thing. But this is as good from an actual stack linebacker as you can get, where he's super flexible. He's able to bend around that area, doesn't lose his footing. He's basically an L right here. He's like a greater than sign. And he's able to come up and swipe the ball away, get a strip sack on Rattler, which they don't get the ball back here, but at the same time, it's still a disruptive play. Now it's 3rd and long as opposed to maybe a big shot he was looking to get. So on top of having that swim move, and there was a couple times in this game where he showed off some long arm power moves, got this pretty long frame. This just shows like a pretty good speed, bend, flexible pass rush move that I don't think a lot of linebackers will be able to bring to the table, just because they aren't able to do this with their hips and ankles to get around offensive tackles like this. So I think his speed and burst off the line is going to combine well with this kind of stuff, and he'll definitely be able to rush the passer at the NFL level. Whether that's a consistent thing or not is up to the scheme, but I think he's able to be scheme versatile in that way. So he's going to be lined up right here in this A gap over the center, and they're just going to try to run it behind their right guard here. It's kind of a pulling kick-out play, and the left guard here, or right guard here, is supposed to combo up with the center up to him and block him to free up this gap, and he's supposed to kick the lineman out. So this guy is going to get to him. He's supposed to kick this linebacker out, free up a hole right at the middle so his running back can try to shake the safety. But what he does here is he's able to put his shoulder down in the lineman, doesn't get moved backwards. In fact, clogs the running back's lane with his own lineman, and allows for it to be more congested and not allow him to get open space, and has to make a cutback into more defenders. So he notices this, sees this guy coming up, hits him from the outside, keeps the outside leverage, forces it back inside, back to where he knows he has a safety coming down for help, and a D tackle who's already engaged with the center. So he comes down, just fills this hole, is physical enough to take on a bigger offensive lineman who's probably a lot heavier than him. He's 233. This offensive lineman's easily 300. Comes in, takes him on, just fills that gap. Maybe it isn't for a loss. He's not shooting the gap, but he's able to stuff the gap with his just physical presence and prevent that run from breaking out big or allowing the running back to have any room to give a little wiggle to try to break some tackles there. Okay, so this is a bad play to start off with because it doesn't give us the pre-snap look, but he's lined up here again over the right guard. This is going to be a screen pass, so the running back is going to leak out here. He's going to recognize it, identify the screen pass, beats the offensive lineman underneath him, and he gets here. He has a clean shot at the running back, but he doesn't break down for the tackle. He just kind of lunges at his upper shoulder pads, and the running back's able to break tackle. Now, if he doesn't have that backside pursuit from his safety or corner, whichever one this one is, I think it's a fellow linebacker, actually. My apologies. But he doesn't break down. He tackles high. And if this guy isn't over pursuing or that lineman gets a better block on that linebacker, this running back could get a lot more yardage or even break it, if that safety might be able to make the tackle or corner. But I don't trust the corner to come up and make a tackle against the running back like that. He just needs to be able to. That's one of the things that I think is his biggest knock on his game right now is his tackle form. He has the length, he has the speed, he has the athleticism. Sometimes he can play a little too fast for his own good, especially in the open field. So he's able to use his speed, beats the lineman, reads the play, does everything good up to this point. Just needs to. He's right here, so it's not like the lineman still has a hand on him. He needs to break down and shoot for the lower legs instead of trying to go for the shoulder tackle. This one's a little harder because he did have a lineman kind of get a hand on him. He was in close quarters, but as a linebacker, if you want to be an elite linebacker at the next level, you need to be able to break down and limit the missed tackles you get, especially when you have the length like he does. Get low. You have to get low and get to the guy's knees, his thigh pad level, and wrap up as opposed to going for shoulder pads. And you need to break down because there's going to be guys who are really elusive that can break your ankles if you don't properly start chopping your feet and not be running full speed. So he's going to be down here. He's going to be lined up as a blitzer and then drops out as more of like a spy kind of player. And then Spencer Rattler's going to swing it out to this running back here, and he's going to have to come up. He's able to catch up to the running back a little bit past the stick, so he's not the fastest guy in the world, but he's able to catch up to this much smaller running back. But you see that he takes a very poor angle. He should be attacking the backside hip, so he should be getting a little more flat now. He's still going too far upfield at this angle. He needs to be coming more at this angle, try to squeeze it to the outside hash mark, try to either force him outside or force him to try to juke back into you. He over pursues, so he's already ahead of this guy. His back hip is back here, back at this yard line. So I guess I don't know which yard line marker this is, but he's back on this yard line. His head is already up on this. He's 1 yard ahead of him. So this allows the giant cutback lane to come back up here. and he gets even more yardage. Now, luckily, he has his guys rallying to the ball with him, but it's just another poor tackle lane or poor tackle angle. And as we highlighted in the last play, sometimes tackling is his biggest issue. He's got all the physical tools, but sometimes he just needs to know how to use them. So I think if he would have flattened that out a little more, the running back either would have just taken it out of bounds, or if he would have tried this jump cut and he was still on his backside hip, he would have been able to make the tackle. If he was worried about him getting beat to the outside, I think he would still be able to, with his length, if he was here and he got flat, give him a bit of a push and use his arms to either trip him up or give him a push out to the boundary and get him out of bounds. I think he was close enough to get out of bounds to do that. So he needs to work on his tackle angles and his open field tackling in general. All right, so this is going to be his game against Texas A&M, and I know we had a lot of plays from the South Carolina game. I think that game as a whole is the best summation of his skill set, where now we're going to go into these next two games, which is just going to show more plays or examples of what I talked about, so that way it doesn't look like I just did his scouting report based off that one Arkansas game. So Texas A&M didn't have the best season, mostly because of poor quarterback play, but they still have some good, talented players. We're going to start off with a play here. He's down here on the bottom of the line of scrimmage, lined up in a 2-point stance, kind of like a wide 9 alignment, even wider, because this guy's kind of pretty out wide. He's going to come up and he's just going to do another pass rush rep here. Straight up, he's a full-on 100% pass rusher, 3rd and 5, going to get after this quarterback. He's going to fire out of his stance, convert that speed to power, and absolutely knock that lineman backwards. Like, he gets that punch right into his chest, blows him back. Look at, the lineman's like almost off of his feet. He's got the good leverage. He's got good inside hands right on the inside of the jersey there, right around the collar, if not more towards the inside of the chest protector. Absolutely just bowls him back and then is able to, since he has the full control with the hand placement and the power there, has him totally off balance, comes out and gets half a sack, but you know what I mean. He really put in the work for that sack, and that's a great move. Shows the power he has in that long frame. It can convert the speed, the upfield speed. He's coming straight upfield with that good first step, and then goes and cuts it up right immediately into that lineman. It builds up his speed, knocks him back, and just shows that great kind of pass rushing ability from a stack linebacker. So you can play him on the edge if you need to. You can draft this guy scheme versatile. He could be a 3-4 outside rush linebacker who can come in and be the stack guy if you're dropping out to like a 4-3 kind of thing. Or it could be a 4-3 inside linebacker who just bounces out to the outside if it's an obvious passing down. Yeah, just totally blows that guy back. And I love that rep so much. Shows his good speed to power move there. All right, so here's another play where it's a 2nd and long, so it's going to be an obvious passing situation on most occasions. And he's going to be lined up right here. This tight end's going to do the little. I think this is going to be a stick play where he's going to run out and do the stick route. He's going to come out. This guy's going to run a little out. He's going to undercut that, keep stride for stride with that tight end, show that good athleticism, and keep his eyes on the quarterback. So gets immediate to his spot, understands this is his man. I think this is more of like just a double post kind of thing here. Undercuts it, keeps his eyes on the quarterback, stays with him, and then comes off as soon as the ball is thrown. So he immediately finds his guy, knows what his assignment is, undercuts it, makes sure to take that route away, and looks at the quarterback, waits for the play, gets his eyes out there, and so he knows when if the ball's coming, if he needs to break off to go try to help out another route, stuff like that. So I just think it's a good heads-up awareness play in his pass coverage. Pass coverage, not his greatest strength, but I still think is a strength for him, especially for someone with the length he has. He can get into so many different passing lanes they wouldn't normally get from maybe a 6'2 linebacker or a 6'1 kind of pass coverage specialist linebacker. He's able to get himself in good positioning. Like I said here, he shows good ability to read the route, undercuts it, gets eyes on the quarterback, and then he has those length that maybe if there was another route trying to attack behind that, he would be able to take that away as well. So like I said in the beginning, how he only had that 1 year starting experience. So his football knowledge and kind of just the understanding of how to play and, forged by fire kind of thing is still getting there. He's going to get better as he plays more games, which is why maybe his decision to come out of college a little early wasn't the best, but at the same time, you might as well go learn on the job while you're at the NFL level. He's got the physical tools to do so. So he's here over the center. It's going to be a hard play action. He's already shooting down because he reads the fullback here. He's shooting down to fill this gap, and he bites so hard on the play action pass that there's just nobody in this middle area. Now, this play call has it so that way there's a leaking fullback here, and then he comes out and picks up the tight end that comes out, or is that also the fullback? I'm not sure. Fullback. If fullback leaks out, this is the tight end coming across the thing. But if this was a play where they were trying to hit like a crosser here behind the linebackers, totally wide open. So, and this isn't a one-off thing. We might show a couple more plays where he bites hard on play action, but play action is definitely one of the things that he is the most susceptible to, and I think he'll get better with that as he plays more. But this is just one of the more egregious cases of him. I don't know if he was coached up to do that, or if that's just his instinct. He wants to get here and fill the gap on a 3rd and short, but he bites pretty hard on that play action, and that's, again, indicative of him having a lack of starting experience and needing to really just get some more reps in. So here he is again playing on the edge. This is more of a obvious passing down situation, 3rd and 13, so they have him down here looking to rush the passer. He comes upfield. He sees his lineman starts pulling, so he recognizes that, comes inside, makes a great stop on the run play. So they went conservative here. Texas A&M is up. He's playing on the edge, and it just shows he has a good understanding of run defense and where to be in run lane, stuff like that, even when he's playing on the edge position, so not even from solely from a stack linebacker position. He reads this perfectly as an edge. You want them to, if they see their lineman pulling inside, they're going to try to run underneath that lineman, unless it's like a very elaborate fake. And he reads that, crashes inside, and gets that tackle right around the 1 yard. He gains like 3 yards on this play. So instead of running upfield and thinking like, I'm unblocked, and leaving this gap wide open for the running back to get right to the linebacker, he comes off, and he's the first one there to get a hat on him. And I think it's just another good way of showing how he's a good run defender regardless of where you put him on the field. Again, it shows scheme versatility, shows that he has a good understanding of these kind of concepts. It's just going to be more reps to not fall for fakes and, coaching him up like that. Final play of this game against A&M, and he's going to be right here along the left guard. And he's going to come up, and this is going to be a little bit of mixed of something we didn't see in the South Carolina game, or I didn't highlight specifically. Something I did. Positive and negative. First off, the positive. He comes up and meets this trapping pulling guard right in the gap. Meets him, gives out the block immediately. He's already free. He's one-on-one with the running back. The lineman wasn't able to get a good enough shot on him. He's kind of a slippery when he isn't really bench off and then, the traditional block shedding stuff. But he's really slippery when it comes to getting off of run blocks, using momentum against linemen. So he comes off, slips off the block, and then misses that. Completely whiffs on it in a clutch time, sheds it, whiffs the tackle. Now, I don't know, from this vantage point, it looks kind of like he wasn't getting a full extension. Maybe he was worried about diving into somebody's knee or something like that. But I feel like someone with the length he has and the ability, the athletic ability he has, I feel like that should have been a tackle he could have made. Maybe he was going by him too fast. I'll be more lenient on this missed tackle than the ones in the open field where it was just clear and obviously him failing to break down and slow up his speed and attack the back hip. This one, however, it's just another example of how maybe he doesn't use his length to the best ability when he makes tackles, and just overall just needs a lot of tackling work to really be an elite linebacker. All right, so our final game is going to be against Alabama, clearly probably the most talented team he's faced so far in this film session. This first play is going to be another example of him being a good reader of run plays and be able to attack the running plays when he's the stack linebacker as opposed to when he was the edge in the last one we looked at. So he's just going to be able to shoot this gap, but unfortunately he's not able to secure the tackle. I think this is more a good play by Jahmyr Gibbs, who's got that stronger lower body. He makes a great read, starts wrapping up, and Gibbs is just able to spin out of it. So again, maybe you can see this other mixed tackle, but I feel like this wasn't a failure of technique or anything like that. It was just a really good play by Gibbs. You can see he came right through that gap, met him at the line of scrimmage, and it was just a better play by Gibbs. I think overall, to take out of this play is just that great run read and able to slip through some tackles or slip through some blocks and get to the point where he can make that tackle. And maybe if it's not a guy who's projected to go like first round, high second, this is one of your more average NFL running backs, or maybe just a regular player where Gibbs isn't able to do this. I feel like this is going to be a big positive play for him. But other than that, I like to take the positive out of this one with his run defensive reading out of, if not anything. So this is what I was talking about when there was that one play up the sideline against South Carolina. I think he's such a good athlete with such good length that if he stays on the back hip, he'll be able to make a lot more plays and then not have to over pursue and allow those cutbacks to come. So he's going to be right here. He's going to drop into coverage, gets to his kind of hook zone. Nothing's really threatening him. Bryce Young takes off, and he attacks, stays on the back hip, right? He's not coming over here and trying to cut him off from where he's want to go. He stays on the back hip, takes a good angle, and even though Bryce kind of gives him a little shimmy, and he looks like he's giving up the leverage battle, might give up the edge, He's able to get down there. Again, a little more flexible here. He's got his ankles kind of on a bend. Dive, makes the tackle with some good length. So I think if he can get to doing this more often and taking better angles because he knows and trusts his athleticism and length to make those open field tackles, we'll see a lot less of those over pursuing plays and a lot less of his times of him getting cut back on in the open field. Now this one right here is the good run read and good selfless play at the linebacker position. So he's right here, kind of more over the offensive tackle, and they're going to bring this guard and this tackle on as a pull. Actually, the tackle's in down block, it's in the center of the guard. He's going to fire up here, and the guard is supposed to, his assignment is to kick out the guy at the end of the line of scrimmage. He should probably kick out this safety who's coming up because he reads the play as well. But because he comes in so fast and so quick, the guard and center both identify him as the most dangerous inside man, and they both block him. He takes on both, leaving this guy coming from the backside and his safety coming to fill and make the tackle basically for a loss, if not for no gain. So it's a really selfless play, takes on both pullers, isn't pushed back by both pullers, I want to mention that. He's able to stand them up both for the most part, and just absolutely blows up his run play because he becomes the most dangerous man and forces those guards in center to be wrong and allow his teammates to come in and make a great play. So I think it's a good selfless play from the linebacker position, good read, just an overall great football play. So this could be a real quick one because it is a touchdown for the offense, but he's lined up here kind of on the outside between the tackle and the tight end, and he just fires through this gap here, meets the running back right at the hole. The quarterback pulls on the read option. That's got to be more of his other linebacker compatriots over here or somebody on the edge to keep that contained. I doubt he's the read man here because he's going to be looking this way for the read. It's just the quarterback sees no one there. But he's able to fire through. If he was able to have a defender, one of his fellow defenders, come up here and force the quarterback to give it, he's meeting that running back for a giant loss every time. Shows off some good bursts, some good hole reading. He's able to find the hole, just explode through it, especially near the goal line where you can be more aggressive, and just meets them. Would have been a tackle right at the line of scrimmage, and they're a little high of a tackle, but at the same time, great play if the quarterback was forced to hand the ball off instead of getting all that room to keep it. All right, he's going to be over here. He's going to flip camera angles, but he's going to be up here lined up against this tight end, this wing tight end, and he's just going to play through some good tackle. He's going to get his hands on. He's down here now. Gets good extension. He's able to get eyes on the ball carrier with good extension. I think it's another read option play. He gives to the ball carrier. Great. Again, good hand placement. Is able to have a clear line of sight to the ball carrier with the good extension. Gets off. Replaces the lineman. Doesn't get off and immediately go outside. Replaces the lineman. Fights through contact and makes that tackle. He doesn't. It's basically third and inches at this point, but yeah. Gets extension. Finds the ball carrier. Fights through the contact. Replaces the blocker and makes the tackle. Solid, just overall fundamental linebacker play that goes really underappreciated. And for the final play of this prospect profile breakdown, we're going to see him here on the outside of the tackle. They're considering this an obvious passing situation. I don't know why no one's in the middle of it, but however, this is the scheme they are lined up in. He comes out into the flat, covers his man on the stick route, the tight end. Quarterback takes off. He comes over here. And we've been talking about it all day about how his open field tackling is kind of meh. This one, he slow plays it. Look, chops his feet. Love that. So he comes out here. This quarterback has been gashing it on the run the entire game. Comes out here, chops his feet, gets a wide base, chops his feet, and is able to shoot, get him in the legs. Doesn't fall for the hurdle, doesn't fall for him flattening out. Just overall good open field tackle where we've been poking holes in his open field tackling. We're going to end it on a good play of him open field tackling. A pretty big quarterback, to be honest with you. And again, the quarterback's probably faster than him, and he has made much worse open field tackling plays on tape that we've seen so far. Just want to end it with a good one. But yeah, that's going to be it for this prospect profile film breakdown of Drew Sanders, linebacker out of Arkansas. I'm kind of anticipating where he's going to go. I think maybe a team like the Bucs, or someone who runs that hybrid 3-4 outside linebacker scheme. Maybe even the Giants can run him as a middle linebacker prospect there. But I'm really excited to see where he goes because I think a team that is very creative and runs a lot of multiple fronts can put him on the edge, put him in the middle, have him be like a weak side linebacker, maybe sometimes be able to attack from behind, use some of that length and speed to make up those plays. I think he can be a dynamic chess piece for whoever can draft him. And he could be a surprise late first round pick. So I'm really excited for Drew Sanders. I'm excited to see how he tests at the combine and things like that. But other than that, I'm just going to leave this one here. I'm excited to get into some more prospect breakdowns. If you have any suggestions on who you want me to do next when it comes to film breakdowns, leave them in the comments. Subscribe, we're almost at 200, and I'm super happy about that. I'm stoked. Added like 5 in the last week or so. I'm really happy with how the channel's going, and I'm so happy it's draft season. So thank you for your time, and I'll see you in the next one.